It was a beautiful Tuesday evening in New York as the Islanders hosted probably their best opponent in the remaining 10 games of their schedule, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, the Maple Leafs were coming off a bit of a heater. They beat the Ottawa Senators in overtime in their previous game, as well as the Carolina Hurricanes. So that was quite the contest for them. That is not to say, however, that the Islanders do not have successes of their own. They won the last 3 games, and they are looking to hold on to that first wildcard spot so they do not have to play the Boston Bruins in the first round of the playoffs. Now, the big story coming in is, of course, John Tavares, because when is it not? The UBS faithful greeted him, of course, with a chorus of boos, chants, and yes, salty language. Another focus was on the Battle of the Ilyas. That's right, Samsonov and Sorokin as the starting goaltenders in the pipes for their respective sides. Obviously, Sorokin is the superior netminder here as we take a look at how their numbers line up. But the Leafs were the favorite going into this game as a whole. But it was clear from the offset that this game was the Sorokin show. He made 25 saves on 27 shots, which is average for a top-tier tendy like him. But what wasn't average was this save. Take a look.
What can you say about that other than that is the save of the game and we're still in the first period?
Now you might be thinking to yourself, why does that save look familiar? It's because he did it literally a month ago. Look at this one.
On the puck, able to track it. I think Letang figured he had a net. It was empty.
And if you think that somehow lightning happened to strike twice, no, he did it last year too. Look at this one against the Rangers.
And that's just a fabulous save. I mean,
this is now titled the Sorokin save. No doubt. If you do this 3 times, this is your signature save. So Ilya Sorokin, hats off to you. The athleticism, the determination, it is unheard of. And if he is not a final candidate for the Vezina, I don't know what else to tell you. 178 feet away, Samsonov was not as fortunate. He only stopped 22 of 28, not counting the empty net goal, and he had a couple blunders that were easily savable. Let's take a look at the 7-2 victory for the Islanders. Now, in typical Islanders fashion, they conceded the first goal early in the game. It just happens, okay? Sam Lafferty unfortunately found the back of the net, and you know what? Sorokin fought hard for the rest of the period. He kept it at 1-0, of course, with the save that I just showed you. Now, going into the second period, I was wondering, what is Lane Lambert telling his team? And whatever he told them, I don't know, it worked. The Islanders came out running. Now, early in the period, we had Scott Mayfield take it from the blue line, skate all the way around the net, and then find a beautiful cross-crease pass for the veteran Zach Parise to tie the game up at 1. And next, it was the Bridgeport phenom Hudson Fasching's turn to snipe Samsonov over his glove side to make it 2-1. And Cal Clutterbuck would find a beautiful tip-in late in the second period to put the Islanders up 2 going into the third, which is unfamiliar territory for them, at 3-2-1. Now, the third period, it was the crazy one. It wouldn't take long for Twinkle Toes Mitch Marner to find the back of the net as he rifled a one-timer past Sorokin to instill a sense of urgency in the UBS Arena crowd. Cal Clutterbuck would complete his first multi-goal effort in 2 years with a gorgeous top-shelf shot on the breakaway. With a 2-goal lead restored, the Isles would soon find themselves again extending their lead, this time with a greasy little goal credited to Simon Holmstrom, yet again another Bridgeport call-up. This is when the Isles found themselves in very unfamiliar waters. They had a big lead late in the third period. That did not deter them or affect them in any way, though. They did not play safe. The Leafs pulled Samsonov with about 6 minutes left in the game in a last-ditch effort to try and scratch a goal across, but to no avail, as Noah Dobson would lob one from his own goal line into the back of the Leafs net, making it 6-2. Now at this point, the Leafs fans were leaving UBS Arena, people were booing the heck out of John Tavares, and at 6-2 you could assume that this game was over. But that did not stop big man Matt Martin from fighting Noel Acciari late in the third. Now, the reason for this was because of a devastating hit that Acciari laid onto Brock Nelson in the first period. He did not get a penalty for it. People were calling for it. It was severe head contact into the boards, and you could argue that Acciari was seeing numbers the whole way there, which, of course, is illegal. But since nothing was called, Matt Martin decided, hey, I'm going to be the one to do something about it. He laid some heavy hits onto Acciari, and UBS Arena applauded the veteran for his effort and standing up for his teammates. But that was not it, because of course the captain has to get in on the fun. Anders Lee tipped a shot from Dobson into the back of the net with just a couple minutes remaining, making the final score of the game 7-2. 9 different Islanders graced the score sheet on Tuesday night, including 2 Bridgeport call-ups in Hudson Fasching and Simon Holmstrom. I had the opportunity to ask the captain, Anders Lee, about his teammates' performance. Here's what he said. With Brock going down, obviously Fasching, took his spot on the first power play. What did you see from him, not only in the goal, but just in general?
Well, he had a great game tonight. He was on pucks. Smart decisions throughout the ice, and he came up with a big-time goal. So no surprise. He's got a ton of skill, and he can show it off. And where we had him in the power play was not the best-looking one tonight, but he can play that slot spot pretty well.
All in all, this was the most dominant win I've seen from the Islanders in a long time. 9 different players graced the score sheet tonight. 9. And 2 of them were call-ups from Bridgeport. Something has to be going right because they are playing without Matt Barzal. They are playing without Brock Nelson since he was hit in the head in the first period. And Ilya Sorokin is playing some of the best hockey we have seen so far. So where do you go from here? Well, the Islanders no longer need to worry about games in hand. Teams are catching up, and they are still remaining ahead of the pack. Of course, they still have to worry about teams like Pittsburgh, like Florida. Buffalo's out of the picture, Washington's out of the picture, but you don't want to end up, first of all, outside of the playoffs, and second, you don't want to end up in that second wildcard spot. Nobody wants to play the Boston Bruins, especially the New York Islanders. So what will it take to stay in the first wildcard spot? Beat the teams you gotta beat, and that begins with their next game on Friday against the Columbus Blue Jackets in Ohio. But until then, for WFUV Sports, I'm Nick Palmer.